glad you're here with me. We're going to be making carrot souffle. I know you're thinking, what in the world is carrot souffle? It is a simple, easy side dish that you will not even know there's carrots in it. So if you say you don't like carrots, try this first and see if we can change your mind on that. You only need a few simple ingredients to get you started, and let's get to it. I'm going to boil 2 pounds of carrots, or roughly 2 pounds of carrots. You do not have to boil them. You can actually steam them. If you steam them, it's going to have more of a carroty taste. I'm going to boil them because I think it gets softer and it just tastes better to me. They're just rough cut. And I'm just going to place them in this water and boil them. I'm not adding salt to my water, just the carrots. And you're going to boil them or steam them until they're really soft. Meantime, I'm going to make a pecan strudel to go on top. And this bowl is going to be the strudel topping. This is optional. Oftentimes I eat my carrot souffle without it, but for a special occasion, and for others it's nice to fancy it up just a little. You can start at a cup. This is roughly about 1.5 cups of chopped pecans or pecans. Of course, they're very rough chopped. They're not small pieces. That's the way I like it. We have about 1/4 cup of very soft butter. I don't care whether it's salted, unsalted. It doesn't make a difference in this recipe. We have 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. We have, let's see if you can see it in here. We have a little bit of cinnamon, roughly about, let's say 1/4 or half of a teaspoon of cinnamon. And we have 3/4 cup of brown sugar. If you would like it sweeter, go up to about 1 cup, because we will be putting sugar in the actual carrot recipe itself. You can mix this. Little nut piece here. You can actually mix this with a spoon. You can put it in your mixer. You can use a hand mixer. You just want to mix it until it's kind of crumbly. Oops, lost the nut on the floor there. You can also melt the butter and let it sit. You can melt the butter into the mixture. But just make sure it's incorporated. I keep losing these nuts. I don't know what is wrong with me and this bowl. I guess it's a short-sided bowl, so smart person I am today. You can see it's getting crumbly here, and that's what you want. You just want a crumbled texture once this is done. Hope you can see it. I don't have the best setup here. As you can see, it's very crumbly. And you're just going to place this aside until you finish your filling. All right, good people. These carrots I've already tested their doneness, and they're nice and soft. So I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to drain them really well. So now you can see all that steam coming up from those carrots there. Into my hot drained carrots, I'm going to add a softened stick of butter. You can melt it beforehand if you would like. And I start mashing. I like my carrot souffle with bits of carrots, but you can actually put this in your mixer, or if you have a hand mixer or a blender or a food processor, you can actually add that to those machines and you can get it really smooth. I do have a mixer, I have a hand mixer, but I just prefer it a little on the, sorry about all that noise there. I actually prefer it a bit on the chunkier side, and that's because my first experience with this was chunky. I don't know if any of you guys are in Virginia and if you've ever been to the Virginia Diner. I haven't been in so long, but I used to commute to work, and from time to time I would stop there, and they had the best carrot souffle. Some people are familiar with carrot souffle from like Piccadilly's. Piccadilly's is a cafeteria, and I don't even know if they're still around either. And from that point on, I was hooked. They had the butteriest carrot souffle. I was often confused whether it was a carrot or a sweet potato because that's how sweet and wonderful it tasted. So I'm going to mash these up. I'm not going to mash these up really well. My butter's already melted. And as you can see, it's not perfectly smooth. But again, if you like a very light texture, then you could mix it up and blend it up really, really fine. So to the mashed or pureed carrots, you're going to add a half a cup of white sugar, a half a cup of brown sugar. If you would like less sugar and a less sweet souffle, you can back off of some of the sugar. Now the brown sugar can be light or dark. If you like a more molasses taste, then you'll probably go for the dark. We have 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, and just to let you know, it can be omitted. It will not be as fluffy, but it can be omitted. I've made this many times without the baking powder. A teaspoon of cinnamon, and remember, if you put the strudel on top, that has cinnamon as well, so you don't need a lot of cinnamon. If you would like another taste for fall, you can add a little mace, allspice, nutmeg, a little ginger, that's up to you, a little pumpkin spice blend. But I'm just doing just a very simple cinnamon. And let's see here. I'm also just going to do a pinch of salt. And remember guys, if you got big thumbs, a small pinch will do. And I think that is pretty much it in here. And I'm just going to dump that in. Also, add a little vanilla. About a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half of vanilla is great. I know, I didn't measure that. That's my normal way, but it's roughly about what it is. And mix that up really well. Of course, I'm a messy stirrer. And let me know in the comments, have you ever tried carrot souffle, or is this your first time being exposed to it? Let me know. This is also a great way to get your kids or the non-carrot loving people in your life a little vitamin A in their diet. I probably would steam it, but if you wanted to make it just a little bit more healthier, but they probably won't even know it's a carrot. And now I'm going to actually add 3 beaten eggs, beaten very well. And don't forget, preheat your oven to 350. Okay. I am adding the eggs. Now, if there's any French people watching this or any culinary students, yes, I know it's not a true souffle. Don't come for me now. We just call it souffle. It just sounds better than carrot casserole. Or carrot pudding. Makes it sound fancy, carrot souffle. So we're going to keep that title. And I'm just going to mix it well. Now this time you're probably already prepared your pan. Probably not, because I haven't told you. This is not enough for a 13 by 9 inch pan. You'll probably need to double the recipe for a nice size 13 by 9 inch, but a nice size casserole 8 by 8, 9 by 9. I'm actually going to put it in smaller containers and casserole dish. I got 2 small casserole dishes and then some ramekins, and that's typically how I serve it, in the ramekins. All right, and now I'm going to pour. You can butter your dishes, or I have like a little baking sprayer. I have a little sprayer that I use for baking. And here are the little ramekins. Here. And I'm just going to pour into it. You don't have to pour it until it's completely up to the top. Just about halfway will do. And I'm just going to give it a little shake to even it out. Shake it on up. Okay. See those two? Okay. Now one I'm just going to leave as is. I'm not going to sprinkle anything on it. I'm just going to let it go. The other, I'm going to add my pecan strudel. Now you don't use all of it. And this is perfect. You can stick this in the refrigerator when you're making muffins. Put it on top of your muffins before you bake them. Put it on your sweet potato casserole. I should have put a little bit more nuts in it because I really love pecans when they're in the oven cooking. The heat really brings out their flavor. Now your butter should actually help with cooking that sugar that's on top. Here we go. and in the oven they go. Just make sure that you put it on a cookie sheet or some kind of baking sheet. You're going to place it in your oven. If you're using a larger dish, usually it's going to take roughly, I would probably start checking at the 45-minute mark, but it can take up to an hour, depending, again, on your environment. If you have a smaller container and you're using less, of course, it's going to take, it's not going to take as long. I would probably start checking between the 25-minute mark. You're going to look to see if it puffs up any. If you don't use baking powder, then you don't have to worry about that. It's not going to rise, really. You also want to check to see around the edges. It'll start pulling away just a little bit around the edges and start caramelizing around those edges, so you get a nice little brown ring around this dish. So we'll check back in to see how it looks. And here we have it. It is done. I told you, we're supposed to wait until it cools down so it can firm up just a little, but I can't resist. I'm just going to take just a small little piece, just a small, and give me some pecans here. So we're going to see. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. I'm going to try it now. Perfect. I hope you try this recipe out for yourself. Whether you use the topping or without, it's simply great. See you guys next time. Bye for now.